you guys mentioned earlier before we were recording the podcast portion, you made the statement, I think, Lauren, you said as that it's quality of life for you guys versus the quantity. What does that statement mean to you guys?
That's actually something I think we said on the day he got his diagnosis. We promised each other we're going to give him the quality of life, the best life possible. May not be very long. We don't know. We don't know what that's going to look like. But no matter what length of time it is, he's going to get every experience possible that any kid could ever want. I mean, and he does. He, pre-COVID, traveled all the time. I mean, we were not just in Philadelphia. We love to travel. We did as much with him as possible.
Now that is spoken like a true parent who simply wants the best for their kid. And if you are a parent, I'm sure you can relate to that. My name is Seth Carnell, and this is the Go Shout Love podcast. This is part 2 of the conversation with Bob and Lauren, the parents to Leo, who is our feature kiddo for the month of March. A lot of good content here that is applicable for anyone listening. I know I say that a lot, but as a producer of this podcast, I can tell you that I take something away from episodes like this, and especially episodes like this. Bob and Lauren are incredibly easy to listen to and have a lot of poignant things to say about their son and life in general. This episode talks a lot about inclusion and society. We talk about how to support each other during tough times. This is a shorter episode, but there is so much packed in, and I really want to get to it. So I don't want to take too much time in between how this podcast opened and getting back into the conversation. There's so much good there. But very quickly, if you are listening for the first time, or if you are a regular listener and would like to know how to help shout love for families like this one, you can go to our website, goshout.love, and start a subscription and help us shout love for families every month. This is a good month to start. This t-shirt is amazing and teaches us to enjoy the ride. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go to our website, look at the shirt, and good luck not wanting one. It is awesome. Josh Veach, one of our co-directors, is leading this conversation. We started with Lauren talking about the quality of life and what that means for Leo. And here is Bob following up with that.
Yeah, when you're a special needs parent, it's very easy to get caught up in doctor's appointments and therapies and this and that. And we said from the get-go that we didn't want Leo to be that kid that's just miserable, where it's such a dead set schedule that, okay, we've got therapy at 2:00. We've got a doctor's appointment at 3:45. That's not what it's about. It's about being able to be happy. And that's what we always wanted for him and still do.
Sure.
Yeah, we do our best to get in every therapy session we can, but if we miss one, we're not going to beat ourselves up over it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. We got to remember he's a child first. That's what comes first.
Yeah. What would you want the world to know about Leo if they don't get to meet him in person? For a lot of our listeners, the best they're going to be able to get to meet Leo is through a 3 to 4 minute video in this conversation. But what do you want the world to know about Leo?
So don't count him out. He seems like maybe he's not aware. Sometimes he does seem he's very low tone. He may not look like he's paying attention or really understands everything, but he does. And we have learned, use an eye gaze to communicate, and we've learned that he knows a lot more than people think. And so just don't ever count him out. Don't ever assume that someone, isn't aware of everything going on around them.
And that, if you ever see him smile, it's genuinely coming from a place of joy and happiness and love with Leo. That's what he's about. There's no ill thoughts with that kid.
Yeah. What is one way that the world could be more inclusive or accessible for Leo and other kiddos like him?
I could write a book on that one.
I know. I knew as I was asking it, that's a hard question to say what's one way.
Well, let me start now. I'll try to keep it. Gosh.
Or maybe to make it easier for you, hopefully, what would be the ways that have impacted you guys the most personally? The ways where you've seen a world that isn't quite as inclusive or accessible as it should be, in the ways that have, for your journey specifically?
I would say that, and it's not just for Leo, it's for a lot of people in general, that sometimes structures and stuff need to change. I know we run into a lot of places that aren't wheelchair accessible, and especially in my line of work, but we as a society need to realize that, you know, there's these people out there that need a little extra help, and being able to get around is probably the easiest and quickest thing that we could do for people like Leo and other people that need the help.
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest thing, is there's a lot of places that we have a hard time getting around just because we can't get his wheelchair in and out.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of, Lauren?
Oh, so many things. You know, my mind is spinning with this one. You know, I'd say probably just one of the biggest things that can help with inclusivity is having teachers and therapists. I think that's where it starts, is when maybe they don't know exactly how to help someone like Leo, so they go out of their way to learn. You know, we have therapists that have literally gone to specific trainings, and they will never know how thankful we are for them. You know, they have learned new things to help Leo. And that's what's going to make the difference. You know, people being willing to help.
Yeah. It seems, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems like that example there's a human element to that. It means that they recognize Leo as a person and as a person of value.
Yes.
And they're doing something specifically for Leo versus they're just doing their job and this is a case.
Exactly. And you can tell real quick who has this is just the job and who has this is for Leo mentality.
Right.
So
yeah.
Right.
A lot of families that we talk to, they will reference how, if we ask a question similar to, you know, give us an example where someone stepped up and made an impact in your life, or something that, you know, how people rallied around. And it's, some of the answers are really just small things that meant the world to the families. If someone could drop off something at your doorstep that would make you feel loved and supported, what would an example of what that thing might be?
That is a good question.
Yeah, I'd say maybe something for Leo. That shows me that they're thinking of him. You know, something that he would like. It's that or coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna have, you know,
That's
always
right.
gonna love coffee. That makes me
Never
feel
a bad time.
Right.
No, but I would say maybe something really simple and easy. We have had a lot of people give us dinners, just like frozen casseroles. So simple. And I remember, especially back in those early days, it was really rough. Leo was not doing the best. People would send us food, you know, and it just made it easier.
It's funny you said that. I was thinking kind of along the same ways. Lauren has a friend in Australia, and just out of the blue one day we got a package, and there was these two little stuffed animals that were just for Leo. That's all it was. One was this little cat thing, and the other one was like a pig or something. I don't remember what it was. But it's just the fact that people are willing to step out and say hello. You know, that's what it would be. Just you know.
Yep.
Bob, you referenced earlier the background and kind of the work ethic of, just bear down and get it done and provide. And then you also, in your answer about traveling, said, don't be afraid to ask for help. And I'm curious if there was a difficult journey to go from that natural work ethic to kind of self-reliance or independence. And I don't mean to, kind of box you into a corner there, but that tends to be the common descriptor of guys that are, they're trying their best and they want to provide. And so we can be stubborn sometimes, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
To the point of being able to accept other people's generosity and assistance. Was that difficult, or did that come naturally?
It was difficult at first, but once you realize that people just want to help, then that's what made it easy, is when people truly want to help and didn't want anything in return. Because that was, like I said, my background comes from being, well, I helped you with this, you could come help me with that. That's not what it is in this situation. And once you figured out that people didn't want anything in return, it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah. It's sometimes hard to accept goodness, accept generosity, and not put it in a ledger, right? It's like,
very
it's
much
not,
so.
It's just goodness stands alone, and goodness settles the score. That's a hard thing to get to.
And it's out there. We live in a time and that it's hard to see, but it's out there. And like I said, if there was ever anything I could do for somebody else in our situation, I'm more than willing to do whatever I can. And
yeah,
that's just where you have to come from,
One final question that I would like to ask, and it's one that we ask often, is that what would you say to a family who's just getting started on a rare medical journey? If you could think back to those early days of you guys walking through those days, and you came across a family that was just kind of walking in steps similar to that, and they're just, 4.5 years behind you, what would you say to them?
I know what I'd say. I actually think about this a lot, just with my background and, coaching special needs moms. I would say, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to have grief, and it's okay to let yourself feel these things. If you don't, you're going to end up feeling them anyways. It's just going to come out in big explosions. Like, just allowing it and just not feeling guilty for it. There's no shame behind sadness in this. And it's going to be okay. It will get better.
Yeah, I think I'd tell people, slow down. When you first find out, you want to rush around and do everything you can to learn as much as you can right away.
Yeah.
You can't learn it overnight. It's not a sprint. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out, especially to people that you may never think of. But just slow down, take a breath, realize that everything will be okay.
You earlier mentioned enjoying the things that are right in front of you. And I thought that what a great way of putting it. And even for in the time of thinking of you, Bob, on the horse with Leo, the phrase "enjoy the ride" comes to mind for me.
Right.
And so that's a really cool visual, I think, of Leo's journey and kind of your journey as a family, especially when the expectation up front was so short. You probably had to embrace that quickly and say, like you said, we're going to focus on quality. We're going to focus on making the time for fun and enjoying all the things that we can enjoy. And so what a great word for families that might find themselves in a similar position right now. So, well, before we wrap up, is there anything that you had maybe hoped that we would talk about that we haven't touched on? I don't want to cut you off.
No, I think we've really gone, gotten some good questions.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being for letting us share your family's story this month, and we're so grateful, and we can't wait to see how much that story resonates with folks. And before we wrap up, I do want to mention that this month the funds that we're raising through the sale of all the items on our shop, tell us how those funds are going to be used to support Leo.
So right now we are actually raising funds. We're going to need to have a wheelchair van pretty quickly. Leo's learning how to use a motorized chair, and wheelchair vans, no insurance covers any part of that. Nope. So it's not easy to get. So we're just kind of tucking things away and trying to get that taken care of. So whenever he does have his chair, we're ready to go and he can use it.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe as a listener on whatever platform you are listening on, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and even on YouTube. After that, go through and listen to previous families and maybe even catch up on stuff you may have missed. As for Bob, Lauren, and Leo, you can shout love for them by going to our website and purchasing an item, possibly beginning with the Enjoy the Ride t-shirt inspired by Leo, who encourages us to look at the positive in each day and to enjoy the ride. Every purchase in March will go towards helping the family save up for a wheelchair accessible van. We also have sweaters, hoodies, tumblers, or other items. I have, a lot of t-shirts personally, and I love them, but also a hoodie, and I have given a hoodie as a gift many times. Just letting you know, it is a great gift. People love them. So there you go. Save you some gift shopping time and shop with us. GoShout.love. Stay tuned for more conversations and feature families, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and stay with us as we go shout love.